As it is rightly said, what we give back holds as much power as what we create. Hold that excitement. Josh is about to make this even better. It is said, thought is the first tool that we sharpen before building anything that lasts. So it is that time to sharpen our thoughts. Time for the technical paper presentation. To begin this segment, may I request the dignitaries to please grace the dais. Executive Director of Milt Global, Miltonian C. Graha Durai. Chairman of Josh25, Miltonian Tushar Parak. The mythical philosopher's stone is set to turn whatever it touches into gold. And I'm sure this technical paper is going to have the same effect on our mind. Ladies and gentlemen, the technical paper you are about to hear is based on the topic Dissolve to Evolve and having the title Becoming. Our winner is someone who has done her online MLC in 2022 and introduced by Miltonian Ramesh Anantaram. She is a renowned author with 4 books already published on her and plans to write more. She is a mainstream journalist by profession and for the last 21 years and has worked as an editor and columnist for a significant period of her career. She has launched a career magazine. Currently, she has made herself busy by being a full-time writer and biographer. Her mantra for success is live and let live. Please welcome with a huge round of applause and help me congratulate our first-time TP writer from the newest Global Milt chapter of Middle East, Nisha Sanjeev. A quick note before we start. The paper reading will take about 15 minutes, followed by 20 minutes question and answer. I now invite the writer to the podium and present the paper.
The title is Dissolve to Evolve, and the topic is Becoming. The abstract. This paper challenges the modern pursuit of success and identity by tracing my personal journey through shame, burnout, and grief of always striving. It explores how the effort to become someone can distance us from the wholeness already within. Drawing from my lived experience and quantum insights, I propose true evolution begins with dissolution of hubris. I had a privileged life, but I was ashamed of it. My father left his village for a modest job in another state, doing everything he could to raise us with dignity. My mother, who never finished school, taught me to dream, to be independent. But she never used that voice for herself. She bore every insult, every slight with a smile, especially when relatives from wealthier families mocked or ignored her and my father. Tired of seeing my parents treated with disregard, I made a secret vow. If they can't command respect, I will. I will become someone who no one can ignore. I will become visible. And I did exactly that. I became a journalist. Interviewed movers and shakers of the country, edited for major media houses, launched a career magazine, authored books. From a shy, sensitive girl, I turned into a go-getter. I believed I had arrived. But the peace I longed for never came. Instead, the old feelings returned in new disguise. On most days, I was the scapegoat for others' mistakes, the office yes woman. Then one day, it all cracked. I had just filed what I thought was my best story yet, an exclusive with the first women minister of the government. I walked into the editor-in-chief's cabin expecting praise. Instead, I was told, when you go out to meet personalities, Nisha, you are the face of a magazine. We can't have someone who smells so bad represent us. The world collapsed. In a moment, the identity I had spent years constructing shattered. The confidence, effort, achievement, it was still not enough. I was still unacceptable. The shame I thought I had outgrown came rushing back. It reminded me of the first moment I felt its sting. The sting of shame. I was just 11 years old, attending a cousin's wedding in our hometown. The bride asked me, "What gift have you bought me?" "Go tell your father no one comes empty-handed to a wedding." She didn't know that my father had to borrow money just for us to attend her wedding. That day, something shifted inside me. I returned from the wedding not as a carefree child of 11 years, but as someone who could read silences, who could decode hierarchies, and understand how the world measures worth. Worse, I began to measure my own worth the same way. Our summer trips to the hometown were always tense. My parents argued over what gifts to carry. My mother insisted on taking something for our people. My father said we couldn't afford. I watched my vibrant mother shrink around relatives, dressed in hand-me-down saris and jewelry. My father, usually a rock, would grow quiet and withdrawn. He once told me his siblings had decided he wasn't needed at his father's funeral. Even death, it seemed, bowed to power. Since I witnessed such humiliations frequently, I learned early in my childhood the rules of respect. Play the part, fit the mold, and succeed. I did exactly that. But I paid the price. Years of hiding in shame began to surface as panic attacks. So at the peak of my career, I quit. I decided to become a full-time writer. I declared I was my own boss. It worked for some time. I wrote hundreds of articles and published 4 books. But the success I yearned didn't come yet. I hustled like a headless chicken, invested in marketing coaches and career strategists. Meeting expenses felt like climbing up a mountain on one leg. My confidence began to erode. Peace, joy, and contentment yet remained elusive. It all came crashing when my husband and I faced the possibility of returning to our hometown. I was terrified. Would I lose my identity? Would I become invisible again? Everything I had built to feel worthy began to crumble. Anxiety and anger consumed me. Therapy sessions followed. There, I learned the root cause for my suffering. I had been trading one borrowed identity for another. From a journalist to an author to a coach, I pasted labels to cover my inherent shame. When I understood this truth, my prayer changed. I no longer prayed for a better job or a curated future. I prayed, God, I'm zero. I'm empty. Fill me with just peace, joy, and love. And what I received was a realization. You have always lived a privileged life, but you were ashamed of it. For the first time, I saw it clearly. I had parents who loved me. I studied in the best institutions. We never slept hungry. I married a man who pampers me. We are raising a beautiful daughter. We are all healthy. All along, I have been privileged. But I couldn't receive it because I was busy trying to become someone. Thus, the real becoming began. Not becoming someone, but becoming me. Looking back, I can identify the chain that stole decades of my adult life. Hubris. I believed I had to grip the reins of every moment. Control, I thought, was the proof of ambition. If I wasn't directing every detail of my life, I was failing. That belief was my hubris. When hubris cracks, ego steps in. It whispers, it's okay, you're not in control at times, but be important, be someone. So I chased significance. I wanted to be respected and admired. I switched jobs for titles. I wrote columns to be seen, not because I had anything relevant to share. Ego not only gave me a nameplate, but also a mask of an accomplished professional. To guard this mask, fear surfaces. Fear is the guardian of ego. It showed up in me as fear of invisibility, which made me overachieve, over-explain, and over-prove. Fear of rejection also kindled in me. It taught me to say yes when my soul screamed no. And the worst of all, fear of what people will say, the cruelest. I chose approval over authenticity. Fear caged me. From fear was born the illusion of lack. I measured worth by the world's scoreboard, money, praise, and visibility. If any of this dimmed, so did I. And when you live from lack long enough, my dear friends, shame takes over. Shame made me shrink even when I shone. Shame told me to hide my story, my roots, my truth, because they weren't good enough for admiration or love. Shame whispered, something is wrong with you. You are not enough. So hide the real you. So I hid. I hid behind borrowed identities. When one didn't fit anymore, I reached for the next. My 4 books are testimony to this. In the first book, I called myself a journalist. In the second, I called myself a passionpreneur. In the third, a practical spiritual teacher. And in the fourth, I called myself an author coach. Each felt real for a while because it gave me a shell to hide. Each title whispered, wear this, maybe now they'll accept you. Each title was a mask to protect the fragile girl inside me, the one that ached to simply be enough. True evolution, I now know, doesn't begin with achievement. It begins with dissolution. Not the dissolution of ambition, talent, or desire, but the dissolution of hubris, the belief that I am the one in control. The idea that we are the master of our fate sounds very noble. We plan, we prepare, we pride ourselves on being self-made. Let's zoom, dear friends, beyond the identity. Science tells us that we are not solid beings. At the tiniest level, we are all energy. Every cell, every breath, every emotion are waves dancing in a vast, intelligent field. And here's the thing. We don't command this field. We don't make the earth rotate around the sun. We have no idea about the breath that keeps us alive. We don't switch on our heartbeat every morning. Even medicine, with all its miracles, cannot make a soul breathe. It can sustain the body, yes, but it cannot command life. Think of this, dear friends. Despite wars, illnesses, natural disasters, man-made ruin, we are all still here. That's not because we control our existence, but because we are chosen to be here. When I understood this truth, hubris began to dissolve. That was the first step of becoming, coming into being. And in that dissolution, something beautiful begins to unfold. Ego softens. I was faced with a humongous ego. With the newfound truth, I made ego my ally. Every time the ego raised its head, I told myself, I am the chosen one to be alive today. I am the ever grateful one. E-G-O. Gradually, this affirmation softened the edges of my ego. It no longer needed to prove, perform, or pretend. Ego didn't die totally, but it did bow down. And magically, fear started losing its voice too. Fear does not drive me when I'm not hiding behind ego. The three fears that crippled me, the fear of invisibility, began fading when I stopped needing to be important. Fear of rejection began fading when I stopped rejecting myself. Fear of what people will say began fading when I started doing things for myself. Without fear to feed it, lack started losing its power too. I no longer measured my worth by output or applause. And I saw I was never really lacking anything in the moment. And with lack disappearing, shame could not hold on its own. It stopped saying, I'm not enough. I began to love the parts of me I once hid, my voice, my roots, my wounds. Shame didn't vanish in an instant, but it did soften into compassion for myself. I realized how much I was holding myself back to project a certain image to fit in. Finally, without shame, I no longer needed to wear masks. The roles I once clung to, journalist, passionpreneur, spiritual teacher, author, coach, they all stopped. They stopped being identities I hid inside. Instead, I started seeing them as roles I played and moved on. Today, I do use name tags to navigate the practical world, but not to feel valid. I don't need a label to feel loved. I'm certain I'm not my profession. I'm certain I'm not my productivity. I am not what the world perceives me to be. As this inner shift took root, something remarkable began happening in the outer world too. I stopped hustling from a place of anxiety. Confidence replaced self-doubt. My work became more impactful, not because I pushed harder, but because I operated from clarity. I started speaking with conviction, not to convince, but because I believed. Clients and collaborations began to align, not because I chased them, but because I no longer repelled them with the energy of lack. When I no longer needed to prove my worth, the world around me responded differently. This, dear friends, is true evolution. Not a climb upward, but a softening inward. Not a collection of titles, but a shedding of illusions. Not a search for more, but a return to what already is. Becoming isn't about adding more identities. It's about dissolving hubris so we can evolve into what we already are, and that's peace, joy, and love, expressed through whatever role life asks of us. I would use this opportunity to bust some popular myths. Myth number 1, evolution is outward. Evolution is inward constancy expressed outwardly. Myth number 2, evolution is a finish line. No, it's not arrival, but a returning again and again and again. Myth number 3, ego must be killed. Now, ego must be retrained into the ever grateful one. I propose a hubris dissolution practice. One breath pause. Before any decision, take a breath and say, not mine, through me. You could also use the gratitude strategy. Start any task by saying why you're already privileged to attempt it. The very opportunity that you have is a privilege. Third, role reminders. Write on your desk, this is a role. I am not the role. And last, I would love to leave you all with an affirmation. I am privileged to be walking the earth now. I am the ever grateful one. Thank you.
Now it's time for the Q&A session. If you'd like to ask a question, please line up behind the microphone on the left of the dais. Kindly introduce yourself by stating your name, the chapter you represent. Each person can ask a single question, questions only, and no statements and speeches. Let us be as brief as possible.
Okay, yesterday when we read the Gaurav's paper, a lot of questions came. What is truth? What is seeing? Is it physical seeing or spiritual seeing? What should we know? What is that knowledge? All answers have been given in this paper. If one can live by this paper, your life is made. Human life is made. Living human life is a skill. Living human life is a science. And living human life is a privilege.
I'm Govindo Kundu from Calcutta chapter. I feel I am privileged, Nisha, to be here and listening to your paper, which is a remarkable one and is very enriching. My only question is the evaluation that took place in you. Was it after doing MILT or in the process before you done your MILT and then it was staying then?
Thank you for the question. In fact, my self-inquiry journey started in 2004. I joined MILT in 2022, but it accelerated and climaxed because of MILT. This paper happened because of my journey. And if I can take a minute to say how this paper happened, when I chose this topic and I wrote the first draft of it, it was literally a vomit draft. All my angst and anger and anxiety was on the paper. So I had to redraft it. My mentor, Miltonian Ramesh Anandaraman, read that and said, it is you, but you in the making. So go do it again. And I feared missing the deadline on August 16 because I was stuck. I was stuck to label the word hubris. It took a lot of courage in me to say the word hubris. It took me almost 4 weeks. And I couldn't progress with this paper because I couldn't live it. I cracked open and then this paper happened. So yes, MILT did it for me. Yes?
Good morning. Thank you for your paper. It was really good. Oh, I'm Ashni Agrawal from Kolkata chapter. So my question was, the part where you said lack disappears and shame shies away. How do you stop this manifesting itself in the form of arrogance? Because you are saying that you're self-sufficient and that you don't need any external validation. So how does that not manifest itself in the form of arrogance?
Well, yes. So this is where yesterday's topic of perception comes in, right? Anything and everything, you can call it arrogance or attitude. But what I would love to, I've gone through that journey, and that is how I would say, I wouldn't want to use the word wasted, but then because it resonates more, I would say I wasted 25 years of my adult life. because of this attitude and this so-called arrogance, which is what I call hubris. Right? Being in control of everything, being self-important. And once that is cracked, everything else dissolves. Once hubris cracks, everything dissolves. So when you say lack stems from fear. And that it's a loop. For me, in my personal story, it all started with shame. And then I created the lack. I thought I lacked everything, and that created fears. And then I started borrowing identities, and then I wanted to control everything. And I thought, the sun revolves around me, and that's how I walk the world. So that's not arrogance, because I would love to introduce myself as a human being, not any identity. But that is ridiculous in this world to say, oh, what are you doing? Who are you? I'm a human being. No. So for the sake of navigating this practical world, I will say, yes, I'm a human being. My name is Nisha. My role, my job is a writer. But we cannot be saying that every day or to all and sundry. So you say, yes, I'm a journalist, I'm a writer, but have it in mind, in your heart, believe it in all your cells, that you are just a human being, just like another person. And even that, if you look at it, is arrogance to be calling yourself a human being, because that is also an identity when you're walking this earth. We are just energy beings. We'll all go to ashes, right? So even to identify ourselves as human being is an identity. But as I said, to navigate this practical world, you need some identity so you can use it. It's not arrogance or attitude. It's the necessity of living in this 3D matrix, I would say.
Next questions, please.
Congratulations, Nisha, for this paper.
Thank you.
I'm Amit from Mumbai. You have become, that is what the title is. I put it close to nirvana type. So my question to you is, having become today, does shame, ego, fear, lack do not have any impact on you?
Good question. Number one, nirvana that you said. If I had achieved nirvana, I wouldn't be standing here.
Sorry, that was for me to convey what I am thinking.
Yeah. So for me, becoming is, as I said, I used a word which resonates with the Earth School, success. So for me, becoming is being successful. And my success, until, say, 10 years back, was all these titles. But today, for me, success is peace, joy, love. That is being. That is the inherent nature of our being. Once you achieve that, naturally, what you called nirvana, enlightenment happens. But I am in the process. I'm aware of it. A lot has dissolved in me, from everything, from hubris to lack to shame to fear. Lots have dissolved when I shed the borrowed identities and identified them as just mere roles. So yes, I'm in the process, but I would say I've come a long way in the process.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Nisha.
Thank you.
Not for winning the cup. Of course, winning the cup, you're getting it. Everyone congratulates you. But my congratulations is for unmasking yourself in front of everyone, which requires enormous courage. I think you have done it's very, very difficult. So congratulations for that. And I think that is real growth. To be a nobody, right? I think in earlier conventions, there was this topic, to be a nobody. I think this is exactly what it is. Okay, my question is this. You wrote 4 books, each in a different role. In each you were somebody. You are a psycho somebody, you were a spiritual somebody. Now that you've realized who you are, you kind of unmasked yourself, what is would you still go back, if time were to be reversed, would you still go back and write those books? First question. Second question, now in your new state, as Amit said, nirvana, would you still write books?
Yes. Yes, that's my only aim and intention for the remaining time on this earth. I am not ashamed of the 4 books I wrote, but I do not resonate with them anymore. Okay. That is testimony to the journey that I have taken. As for what I would like to write, I said, you asked me what do I want to write, or would I write more? Yes, I would write more. And what I would like to write is to help fellow human beings reflect within themselves to be joyful, loving, and peaceful. Nobody can teach anybody to be peaceful, loving, and joyful. You need to reflect within yourself and do that. So if I could be an instrument to kindle that self-reflection in each person, then I would love to do that. And yes, I will continue writing for that purpose.
Great, fantastic, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Nisha, for this amazing paper.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to understand, like you had said that with the therapy, you learn the root cause for your suffering, right? And after that, with the prayers alone, it changed, your thought process changed? Or is there anything else that was involved in changing you from the previous state to the current state? Like, if you can explain some of it.
It's a lot of self-reflection. This is something I have learned because I have done all sorts of spiritual practices. I have taken all sorts of practical empowerment courses from the masters. And what I have understood and learned is with deep gratitude to everyone, to each one, be it the masters, be it my gurus, be it my teachers, be it my mentors. I have deep gratitude to them, but as long as I was following them, I was not growing. So I would request, or I would propose this to reflect each one of you. Be your own master. That is when life started changing for me. I take everything from everybody. From my mentors, gurus, teachers, masters. I take things, I'm grateful for that, but I do not follow anybody. And it took me a lot of time to be my own master, yes.
Thank you.
We are now running short on time, so we have just time for
Hello,
one
Nisha.
question more.
This is Harcharan from Calcutta chapter.
Thank
You said in your one of the lines like ego softens. I am chosen one and to be alive today. I am ever grateful one. So don't you think the word I again brings you back to your ego?
Yes, yes. That is needed to express.
Okay,
I use the word I, otherwise how would you express a thought?
okay.
Right? But when you're expressing the thought, you should always be aware, I am not this body, I am not this human being, I am just a wave, a particle passing through this earth school. You want to call it an earth school, then the situations are challenges. You call this earth a playground, then it's all roles. So I would love to call it a playground. And all the identities are roles.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, Nisha, I found your paper interesting. And I also found you to be very interesting. You have written here that dissolve to evolve. And you have also written the word becoming. Right? And during your question answer session, you said human beings are energy beings. Everything is energy. A dog is energy, this room is energy, sun is energy, the whole galaxy is energy. Entire existence is energy. So now when you dissolve an energy, what comes out of that? And when you are evolving something from energy, what are you evolving it to? And what is becoming in an energy scenario? What is that energy becoming what energy? So that is my question to you.
That is quantum physics. I'm not a quantum physicist to say that. All I can understand, becoming is in the context of life on earth. Coming back to being and understanding that. As for your question, yes, everything is energy, and we don't know where we came from, where we go. Even the, the Big Bang theory that we say, a universe was created through Big Bang theory, but then before Big Bang also universe existed, right? But nobody has an answer to that. Even the quantum physicists today, if you look at Deepak Chopra is pioneering that cause, he is also coming up every day with a theory through research. So nobody knows for sure. No human being alive knows for sure where we come from and where we go. So my topic, becoming, is in context to this life on earth. From the time we are born to the time we die, become. Thank you.
Can I answer her or I just listen to the question?
Sanjay, let me clarify, let me add to her clarification. See, what you have to dissolve where you have to evolve. You are born as a human being. So your identity, borrowed identity, your ego or status, you work on that. The sun is always there in the sky. But because of the clouds, the sun is not shining. You work on the clouds, purify your mind. The more and more your mind gets purified, sun will shine bright automatically. It's always there.
Can I answer or we leave it here? Leave it
leave
here.
it.
Fine. Thank you.
Now for the last question.
Nisha, compliments to a fabulous paper. My name is Lakshmanan from the Mumbai chapter. Nisha, this is a fabulous paper for, what I would say, getting to your eureka moment, right? Ramesh helped you to get that, and you nicely narrated it. And I must confess that I'm still struggling to articulate because I could relate a lot of what you wrote in what I went through as a child. So compliments, and compliments to Ramesh to help you to put this together. Now that you are where you are, right? What are you going to give back to Milt, right? Beyond writing books and beyond writing new things that you spoke about, what are you going to give back to Milt?
Milt and Miltonians, if I can help you reflect within yourselves, I would have done my job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nisha, may I just ask you, because this was one of the most inspiring paper which I, as a judge, could go through it. I want to ask you one question. What is your why?
Why I'm doing this?
What is your why of your life?
Why of my life? Why of my life is this. If I can help people reflect and be peaceful, even if one person, because of listening to me or reading my words, can touch upon their inherent joy, peace, love, that is my why, especially today in this chaotic world. One person. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Friends, that is rightly said. Some papers inform, some papers inspire, but a winning paper transforms the way we think. Thank you, Miltonian Nisha, for sharing such a thought-provoking paper. Thank you, respected dignitaries, for adding value to the paper by your inputs. Let us sell them all back with a huge round of applause. People, this is a fact. चहा नसेल तर पुणेकर फुल कॅपॅसिटीला काम करू शकत नाही. Science आहे हा. We disperse for a quick tea break for 15 minutes and come back fast charged at 100% for the next segment. Be back by 11:30 sharp because ye dil mange more, right?